Stephen A., 10.5-point favorites. I'm going to give Toronto a 30% chance to win tonight. And I remind you, after Game 1 at Cleveland, I gave Toronto a 0% chance of winning Game 2 in Cleveland, in which they once again were embarrassed and humiliated and annihilated to the point that I said mannequins could play better defense than the Raptors were playing against those Cavs in Game 2. And yet, the focal point for me tonight, and the reason I'm going to up my percentage to give them a 30% shot, is Bismack Biyombo. He's got some Oklahoma City going in him, Stephen A. He reminds me of what's happening with the Thunder, except in microcosm and just one player in Toronto. While the Thunder have suddenly arrived, found themselves, figured it all out, so has Biyombo. And it's been shocking to me that in Games 3 and 4, he was a dominating player in the paint, shot blocking, rebounding. And I wondered out loud on the show the other day, did Biyombo, did he even make the trip to Cleveland for Games 1 and 2? Because I couldn't remember him playing. Obviously, the games got out of control so quickly, I couldn't remember any Raptors player playing. But in Game 1, Biyombo had 4 rebounds and no blocks. In Game 2, he had 5 rebounds and 2 blocks. And then in Games 3 and 4 combined, he had 40 rebounds and 7 blocks and annihilated a player I have high regard for in Tristan Thompson. Completely outplayed him, made him look pretty foolish to me. I assume Tristan will rise and shine tonight. I assume that LeBron James, who now owes his team a game, after he disappeared down the stretch the last 5.5 minutes of Game 4 back in Toronto, I think LeBron's going to rise and shine tonight and make sure this is 3-2 going back to Toronto. But the other reason, and the final reason I give Toronto a 30% chance, a fighting chance, is because all of a sudden, for the first time, maybe all year, Cleveland is second-guessing Cleveland. There's some internal finger-pointing. There's some angst. There's some, who are we? Are we three-point launchers or are we paint pounders? Who are we now? And I think they're a little off balance. They're not sure. Kevin Love's way off balance. Not only does he have some kind of a tweaked knee, but his psyche's completely out of whack. So I don't know that they could trust him tonight. But I do trust LeBron tonight, and I think he and he alone will be the difference in what I do think will be a battle. This will not resemble Games 1 or 2, but I still think Cleveland will make it 3-2.
Well, I'm going to point my focus in the direction of LeBron James. Kevin Love has indeed shot 5 for 23 over the last 2 games. He's been pretty pathetic offensively. He needs to get himself going and remind the world that he's worth at least a portion of the $113 million that he's receiving. J.R. Smith needs to recognize that just because you're not making jump shots doesn't mean you can't play the game of basketball. There is such a thing as dribbling and driving to the basket, getting fouled and going to the free throw line, because we know you can do that. Okay, Matthew Dellavedova, it would help that, you know, if in shoot-arounds and warm-ups, if you could hit 9 or 10 three-point shots, could you try not to shoot an air ball at a critical moment from a wide-open three-point shot in the right corner? That would really, really be nice. And Tristan Thompson, a guy that I'm incredibly fond of. I'm happy he got his money. But your lone job description is to man the interior from a rebounding and shot blocking and defensive presence, nevertheless. But that's your lone responsibility. It's bad enough that you didn't do it that well. But to be completely dominated over the course of 2 games by a Bismack Biyombo, waving his finger like he's Dikembe Mutombo, Tristan Thompson should be embarrassed and make sure he does everything he can to make amends. Having said all of that, I'm going to reiterate, I'm looking at LeBron James. I do understand that he played nearly 46 minutes. I do understand that fatigue may have played a factor. But as far as I'm concerned, if fatigue was so much of a factor, what the hell were you on the court for? Go to the bench, take a 60-second breather if you can. Do whatever. all right, and then come back on the court. Drink a splash of Gatorade or whatever it is that you drink, Gatorade, Powerade, whatever it is, okay? Whatever has that alkaline in it, whatever it is, okay? Or electrolytes, rather.
Yeah.
Electrolytes, okay?
Be careful
Here's the
of that
deal.
alkaline.
Here's the deal. LeBron James scored his last basket with 5 minutes and 23 seconds left in the fourth quarter. At that juncture, the Cleveland Cavaliers were up 94-92 after overcoming an 18-point deficit. You are universally recognized, accurately so, as being one of the top 2 players on the planet. And you attempt one shot in the last 5.5 minutes? And you don't attempt one single shot in the last 3 against Toronto, against DeMar Carroll? And in the meantime, y'all can't stop Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, 2 All-Stars, very good. But I think when we look at them, if you look at a tandem, Skip, I ask you to pick 3, to pick of these 3. Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, or DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Who's going to finish 3rd? It's going to be the boys in Toronto.
Yeah,
and you can't.
You can throw in LeBron and Kyrie in there, too, just for that.
No, I'm just saying, all right, 4 of them. Who's going to come in last place?
Yeah.
Who's going to come in last place? It's going to be Toronto.
Yeah.
And you can't stop them. They both drop plus 30 on you, both of them. Both of them. Not even one of them, both. Yeah. I mean, come on. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, look, the King James, handle it. I have no doubt that he can.
Yep.
And I'm not getting on him for how he played. He had 29 points on the 16 shots. I'm just sitting there. The only thing I'm getting on LeBron about here is shoot the damn ball. That's it. That's all I'm getting on him about. I'm not talking about misses or makes. He could have shot 10 times and missed all 10 of his shots. I'd have said, Skip, bad break.
Yeah,
it happens.
I agree.
My issue is, how do you justify attempting one shot in the last 5:28 of a tight game in the conference finals when a win would put you in position to close them out on your home court tonight? How do you pass that up? That don't make sense to me. That don't make sense to me.
Okay, so now, here's the deal. The pressure now falls squarely back on the home team, LeBron's team. The pressure is off the visiting team. And you know and I know Toronto very well might just be a home court product this year where they play way better at home than they do on the road. Okay?
That's who they are.
That's fine. But you know and I know the Raptors are feeling real good about themselves right now because pressure is off. They did what they had to do. It's 2-all. Nobody expects them. They're 10.5-point underdogs tonight. You tell me, you don't think they'll play a little fast and loose tonight? Like just let it fly?
They might play fast and loose, but I think that they will get. I'm gonna side with LeBron James here. I believe that they are going to get overwhelmed tonight, lose by plus 20, and then they're going to go back to Toronto, and it's going to be a tightly contested contest that Cleveland is going to pull out. Even if Cleveland wins, if this series goes 7 games, it's a disappointment.
I don't see Toronto losing by plus 20 tonight.
Okay.
I just think they got too much confidence coming in. I hope you're right because I want to see LeBron have a big game tonight, but I don't think it'll be 20. Maybe 10.
He needs to make amends.
Yeah, he does.
For his no-show over the last 5 minutes. Offensively, of course. He was playing defense, but offensively, he needs to make amends for his no-show in the last 5 minutes.
Our coverage starts 7:30 on NBA Countdown. We're going to step aside from the playoffs for a moment. Another very interesting subject to address here. So over the past 10 years, there's been a lot of focus in sports on numbers and percentages. Well, our Michael Wilbon suggests there is a racial divide on analytics. We get into it and debate it next. Stay here.
He should drop the issue because it's not going anywhere. It's very, very physical in the AFC North, which he also admitted. They hate one another. It's a true rivalry, and we understand that. I would like to see members of the Cincinnati Bengals exercising more discipline, however, because you're representing Coach Marvin Lewis, and you're not making him look good by conducting yourself in a hooligan, in a hooligan-style fashion, assuming that kind of stuff is true, and obviously with Vontaze Burfict and what happened the last time we saw the Bengals, people are going to assume that it is. They want to hit, they want to intimidate. They're vicious, they're incredibly talented, so there's no reason to go the extra mile doing what they've been doing there. There's no reason to do that.
I'm surprised at this. This is unbecoming of a Pittsburgh Steeler to come across as whining about, they hurt me. They're trying to hurt me. Really? Just come on. Stop it.
That's true.
You
That's
don't
true.
need to talk. Thank you for saying that. Just shut up and go beat them next year. You got 2 shots next year to get even with them. And this young man is highly capable of getting even, and that's what he should be focused on.
And go at them the way that they go at you. It's just that I want the guys to be cognizant of who they're representing, especially moving forward next year. After the way this season ended, they got a real bad reputation because of what transpired. Cincinnati is too talented to be recognized for something dirty. They can beat you up legally.
They can, but seriously, every team you play tries to quote-unquote hurt the running back. It's just what the game is about. Just deal with it.
But he's talking about dirty stuff.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. Yeah.
We are off tomorrow, but we will be back Friday. Skip might play golf. Stephen A. going to Toronto.